And we are back here with another video today. Today we are doing the LSU Tigers, and we are looking at Lane Kiffin's squad in his first year in the LSU job. We're going to see what he can do down there in Baton Rouge, see if he can return Death Valley to its prominence in the college football landscape after Brian Kelly desecrated yet another program. Let's get into today's video. My name is Reichley Ruby, and welcome to the Football Expert. Help me reach my goal of 6,500 subscribers. It does say by the end of June. We're getting close to that goal. So let's try to hit it as quick as possible, because at this rate, we're going to hit 7,000 subscribers by the middle of July. You guys have added about 60 subscribers in the past 3 days, which is just insane. So thank you to you all who have been watching and who have been subscribing. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Like this video if you enjoy it, and comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think about LSU football. Let's get into today's video. So first game of the season, none other than Clemson once again. Another massive matchup. Last year, it's not going to be as big as last year. Last year, it was Clemson at number 4 and LSU at number 9. I was actually at that game. That was a crazy environment, a fun game to be at. Got to be on the sidelines for that game. So really fun game to be at. LSU did end up winning that game last year. Obviously, had some different expectations for that game by the end of the year. I think both Clemson and LSU ended up finishing 7-6 on the season, along with Penn State, another one of those disappointing teams that was in the top 10 till the start last year. So very interesting environment. But we'll see if LSU can claim the true right to Death Valley in this game, see who is the true Tiger in this game. I do think that LSU once again does get the win here. I just think that Clemson is in a position that I don't know where they're at. I don't know what LSU Clemson is going to look like in the game, because there's too many variables. What does Sam Leavitt look like at the quarterback position? What does Christopher Vizzino look like in the quarterback position? Does Clemson have a run game at all this year? Is Clemson's defense going to be as good as it was last year? Does LSU's defense struggle without a guy like Harold Perkins? They don't really have a leading sack rusher from last year. They actually bring in a couple of people, particularly the defensive end from Ole Miss, who I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his last name. I'm going to try to start to get that right. Sorry, LSU fans, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, this is an LSU team with a lot to prove, a lot to improve on, particularly in this game. So I think that it's going to be a win. We'll see what ends up happening in terms of the actual game itself, but I think that the outcome will be a win. I think I'm more interested in seeing how the game turns out. Then a home game against Louisiana Tech. I have this as a win. I think that they don't have any problem here, and I'm going to move on because there are a lot of games to get to. Then a road game against Ole Miss. I have this as a loss. I think that this game is going to go back and forth, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry to LSU fans. You guys have caught Ole Miss in a bad time. Ole Miss is upset that they lost their head coach. You're going into Ole Miss. There is just Pete Golding looks good in the playoffs as a head coach. We'll see whether he's able to prove that in the regular season, but I have it as a loss. Right now, I'm not 100% sure on where LSU is going to be this year, where Sam Leavitt's going to be in week 3. If this game was at the end of the season, I'd be a little more confident, but it's also on the road. Don't love that, especially with it probably going to be nighttime and probably going to be college football game day. So just too many stakes here that, honestly, even though Golding is a much more inexperienced head coach, seems to fit well with his personality and with how he had Ole Miss playing last year. Then a home game against Texas A&M. I went back and forth on this game a little bit. I think Texas A&M is a better coach team. I like Mike Elko more than I like Lane Kiffin as a head coach. I just think Elko is better. Texas A&M destroyed the Tigers last year, 49-25. I am very interested to see what it will look like at the end of the year. But I think that right now, once again, I'm going to go with the fact that I know what Texas A&M looks like. I know what Marcel Reed looks like in the SEC. I'm not as high on Sam Levitt as some people are. I agree that Sam Levitt has some good pieces here at LSU too, but um, the Big 10 or the Big 12 is just not the same in terms of defensive capacity as the SEC is. So I got to see him a little more before in the SEC environment. Speaking of non-SEC environments, though, McNeese State coming to town, easy win here. I honestly forgot that they had a football program until I saw this on the schedule. Yeah, no, honestly, almost knew nothing about them at all. Knew them as a basketball school, but that was it. So easy win there. Then a road game against Kentucky. I think that this is a win. I think that Kentucky is a team that has a lot of building to do. I think that they're a team that Will Stein, I think, is a decent hire. At least I like Kenny Minchie at quarterback. And with it being at Kentucky, I could see this being a close game because Kentucky, yes, Mark Stoops isn't the head coach anymore, but Kentucky always plays people closer than they should be. And they beat Ole Miss a few years ago. And I believe that was under Lane Kiffin. Yes, that was under Lane Kiffin. So I think that it's a game and a matchup in which could favor a team. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I have that as a win. Then Mississippi State. Mississippi State is coming off of a bye week, but it is a home game for LSU. And I am not as high on Jeff Lebby. I feel like and I could be wrong because I was wrong about Tony Elliott, but at Virginia last year, he proved me wrong. But I think that looking at a game like this, Lebby just doesn't seem to be fitting the mold as a head coach. He seems to be much more of a coordinator. And I think, honestly, after this year, he'll probably be let go from Miss State. But we'll see. You never know. We'll have to look at that as we get to my preview. I haven't done Miss State's preview yet, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Then a road game against Auburn. I think that this is also going to be a win. I like Alex Golish. I think that he is a good hire. I think that he is the right hire for Auburn. I like Byron Brown. I like the pieces that he's bringing in. The problem is Cam Coleman's not still there. And if Cam Coleman was there, I would be very interested in picking Auburn in this game because, well, at Auburn, there's just always strange things that go on when you go and play at the Plains. It's always a tough environment to go into. Every SEC game on the road is tough, but Auburn's just particularly tough. But I think Lane Kiffin will be able to have himself in a good position. So I think that this is really where we get into the home stretch of the schedule. Alabama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. This is the meat of the schedule. Right now, I already have 2 losses. You can't lose another game if you want to make the college football playoffs. But I do think that they end up doing that. A home game against Alabama. Even though Brian Kelly did beat Nick Saban and Alabama in his first year at LSU, so it is very possible that it can happen under Lane Kiffin if Brian Kelly can do that. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to favor Alabama because Kalen DeBoer yes, he does not seem to have as great of a quarterback situation in terms of the quarterback situation doesn't seem to be settled. But at the end of the day, I do think that they are in a better position. I trust where they're at. I think that Kalen DeBoer's defense will be good. The run game should improve because there's no way it's as bad as it was last year. Maybe I'm proven wrong by this game. This is the one game that I am kind of really iffy on because it's a home game for LSU, and I just don't know about Alabama, but I am going to lean towards Alabama in this game. Home game against Texas. I'm not an Arch Manning lover, but everything around him is fantastic. Like, it's just the best you can get, the best money can buy, literally. So I have that as a loss there once again. I think that is the 4th loss of the season. And I think it will be a tough loss, but we'll see where LSU goes. If what I think happens, that's going to be an important moment. Does Lane Kiffin lose the locker room or something like that? But I think he doesn't. I think he finds a way to go on the road to play Tennessee and to get a win. And here's where you could convince me that that's going to be a loss at Tennessee, and then the Alabama game is going to be a home win because it's a home game and a road game. You could convince me of that, but I think that is going to be a tough environment. But I do have a lot of concerns at where Josh Heupel is offensively. I think that the running back situation is good, unlike LSU's, where it is just kind of iffy. We'll see what it ends up being with Harlan Berry, the sophomore, who had about 500 yards last year, 4.7 yards a carry, but nothing truly, truly impressive. He was impressive. I should say that. He's impressive, but I need to see a lot more out of him before going further with it. Then finally, a road game for the Battle of the Boot, the road game against Arkansas. And if you've seen my Arkansas prediction, I have that as a win for the Tigers. I just don't think Arkansas and Ryan Silverfield is going to work out. I hope that I'm wrong because Arkansas is a fun program. But I do think at the end of the day, Arkansas, I don't think ended up getting the hire that they needed to. I much rather would have had, if I was an Arkansas fan, the North Texas coach, because there's no reason you couldn't have convinced him and Drew Mestemaker to come to Arkansas over Oklahoma State. Like, come on. But that's going to end up wrapping up today's video. As always, hit one of the 2 videos down below and the subscribe button up here. Help me reach my goal, 6,500 subscribers by the end of, let's say, June 10th. As always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.